4 years ago, we purchased the magnificent Château de Purnon. Thought beyond salvation and destined to be lost forever, we blindly took on the task of saving her and undertaking one of France's largest private historical restoration projects. This week, we swing open the doors of a domain that has always been kept private to give you a tour of how we are slowly reawakening and restoring her precious interiors. Welcome, come on in. Come on, Toof. So today I brought you in the southern entrance, which is actually my favourite entrance because you get this really dramatic entrance in over the bridge and past the lions. And we've come into our main entrance hall. And what you're going to realise as I take you on this tour today is this is very much a chateau that's at the start of its restoration of its interiors. So in the entrance, we have already started some preparatory work for the restoration in here. And you may have seen in some previous videos where we started stripping back the lead paint to get us back to the original stone. Now this entrance hall was covered in this terrible blue lead paint and the colour just is really awkward in this space. The original entrance was the beautiful light colour of the tuffeau stone, which we're starting to see now as we remove all the lead paint, but we've still got a lot to go in here. But it's one of those jobs that we're doing gradually. When we have a chance, we come and do a panel. So we have currently done the entrance arch and the two large northern panels. So we're going to go past the Grand Escalier for the moment, which leads up to the first floor, and we're going to head up there in a moment, but first I want to show you something that we've been working on over the last week. So the entrance leads into this room, Purnon's antechamber, which connects the entrance with the chateau's most formal room, the Grand Salon. But it's in this room this week that something very exciting happened. So you may have caught up last week, we had this monumental moment where we shared with you the discovery of Purnon's royal busts and then them being returned back onto Purnon's roof. It was really just such an epic moment in the history of the chateau. But at the same time that the sculptor made the replicas of the royal busts, he also restored the original busts. So the bust of Louis XV was found shattered in 5 pieces in the chateau attic. The head of Henry IV was found discarded in a cellar in Purnon's basse cour. And so during the week, our stonemasons made stone plinths, and the royal busts, the original royal busts, have now been put on display in Purnon's antechamber, and these will now be safeguarded for forever and seen up close, which is just such a remarkable thing because they were never designed to be seen up close. Actually, they were always right up on the chateau roof. So here we have Louis XV. And over here we have Henry IV. Now with Henry IV, it was just his head that was found, so this is the original stone head. But the bust was reimagined by the sculptor when he was creating the replicas, so this is the plaster bust that was created during that process. Now these rooms are the most formal rooms in the chateau, so the entrance, the antechamber, the Grand Salon, and then the bibliothèque, which sits behind the Grand Salon. And these are all on the western side of the chateau. So as the work is now progressing on the restoration of the roof of the western side, this wing of the chateau is starting to become watertight for the first time in a very long time. And what that means is that we can start planning the restoration of these beautiful formal spaces. So all the inside of the chateau is classé monument historique, so it has the highest level of heritage protection here in France. And these formal rooms first need to have an étude diagnostique conducted by our heritage architect. So a diagnostic study which will guide us in the restoration of these rooms to make sure that the restoration is historically accurate. It will involve in finding the original paint colours, the original layouts of the room, and it's always a very exciting process for us to go through with the architect to understand how these rooms were originally created. But there's been lots happening up on the first floor, so let's go up and have a look and see where we're up to up there. Well, we are in the most central room of the first floor of the chateau, and this is Edouard's room. Named after Edouard, he was the heir of Purnon after his brother died during the French Revolution, so the first generation of the family here at Purnon. And his bedroom had a large bed niche in it, which was removed well before we got here. And then during the war years, this room was actually used as a classroom where the children of the family were educated. And for us now, this room is going to be a bibliothèque/drawing room. It's going to be the only room on the first floor that will be a space where you can relax and chill out, because this whole first floor is all bedrooms. There are 8 bedrooms up on this floor, and this is one of only 2 bedrooms that doesn't have the setup that we find here for all the bedrooms here on the first floor, which is the principal bedroom with a maid's bedroom and then also a dressing room. And so this room, to make it a bedroom again, doesn't really work for the layout of the first floor in our era, and so it will become this really beautiful sitting room. The room has wallpaper panels, and they're the first thing you see when you walk up the Grand Escalier and arrive here on the first floor, is you get this view straight onto these wallpaper panels. And for us over the last 4 years, first it's been this horrible green wallpaper, and then in recent months, since the wallpaper has come down, it's been the Hessian backing that we've been seeing every time we've walked up the stairs. And so this week, huge progress has been made in this room because we have hung the wallpaper backing panels. The ceiling has now been completed and painted. A lot of the woodwork has now been painted except for the central chimney and the window area. But my father is here, and so we are pushing forward to get the wallpaper hung, because we've already hung wallpaper in 3 of Purnon's rooms together, and he's incredibly patient. And hanging wallpaper in these rooms where no walls are straight takes an enormous amount of patience. So I'm trying to get that done over the next 2 days before he leaves. And this room is the room where you may remember we selected this stunning wallpaper to hang. This paper is called Purnon. It's in the farrow&ball Purnon papers collection, and it's my personal favorite. It's just so incredibly beautiful. So a very exciting couple of days ahead as we start seeing this room really come together. But come with me and let's take a look at the progress of the other rooms that we've been working on up here on Purnon's first floor. So you can see here in the corridor that the original tomettes are still here on the floor, and in this eastern section of the chateau, so this entire eastern wing here, we are currently still working on getting all the electrical cables and water pipes through, fibre, heating. So these floors are up at the moment, and the way that we have structured getting electricity and water into the chateau is to treat each of the wings separately. So this eastern wing is what we're focusing on the moment, and then once this is completed, work will commence on the western wing, and that allows us to run all the cable works in vertically. And so, yeah, it's quite a mess here, but it's good progress. So previously there has been some water and electricity up here on the first floor, but all the pipework and cables have been exposed and are incredibly old lead pipes. The wires are incredibly dangerous, and so gradually we've been removing all of that, and all the new piping and electrical work that we put in will all be concealed. And so it's taking a huge amount of planning to ensure that we get everything in, because once these floors and walls are covered, that's it. But we are getting very close, and amazing progress is being made on getting the water and power and heating to the first floor. So this room is my great joy. This is the chateau's very first shower. Now, this room originally was a corridor that connected the maid's room to the bedroom on my left-hand side here, which is one of the principal bedrooms of the chateau. And this room has been quite complex because all the water and electricity has been put in under the floor here, which it's then had the stone shower tray put down. And then you may remember when we did this incredibly beautiful Cadillac finish on the walls, and so the tapware has all gone in now, which we will have a closer look at when this room is finished. But there is still no water or power to this room because it's part of the complex plan to supply water and power to this entire wing. And I'm really hoping that progress is going to be made on that next week as well, actually. So we will definitely keep you updated because this is a very exciting project for us. The first shower in the chateau. There has never been a shower here, and we haven't had a shower for over 4 years. So something we're immensely looking forward to, but it's going to be a very beautiful space. So coming in from the shower, we arrive at one of Purnon's most spectacular bedrooms. This is the bedroom that has the original 18th century Reawakening workshop wallpaper. It's the only surviving example of this wallpaper anywhere in the world. It's incredibly rare, it's incredibly precious, it's incredibly spectacular. But this room is soon not only to have a beautiful shower, but also to have an incredible ensuite. And we have shown you the progress of this ensuite as we've been working on it over the last 2 years. It's taking a long time. So come and have a look and I'll show you where we're up to in here right now. This basin obviously doesn't belong in the bedroom. That's going to come into the ensuite. So this absolutely beautiful light-filled eastern-facing ensuite is getting very close. Again, the water and the power is not connected. So we have all our tapware in, but no water at the moment. Recently, we hung the wallpaper, which we covered in one of our videos. And this is the Ashard wallpaper in the farrow&ball Purnon papers collection. And we just absolutely love it. This is a custom color that we chose so that it sat beautifully with the Reawakening workshop wallpaper in the bedroom next to it. So what have we been doing in here since we last were in here with you? Well, we've been actually working on putting all the beading around the wallpaper. So the wallpaper sits on the Hessian backing like all the other rooms here at Purnon, and then we've had to create this beading around it, and that's been quite a process. So all these wallpaper panels now have beading. The mirror has gone in and the lights have gone in and all the electrical sockets and power points, but yet to be connected. So I don't know, the electrician and plumber are here next week. If this room got finished and had the power and water on, that would be incredible progress. But come and have a look at another bathroom that we're working on also. Take the torch with me. So this bathroom has a long way to go, as you can see. This was actually a small maid's room for the bedroom next door, and this room will also have a shower. So Purnon will have 2 showers. Amazing. There won't be a bath in here, there's not enough space. So our plan here is that we have one enormous shower tray, full-length shower tray in one piece of corian. This cavity in this wall here is servicing all the services for the second floor. So water evacuation, water, electricity and fibre. And so once we get everything into that cavity will be closed and we'll be able to start progressing a little bit more on this bathroom. It's going to have travertine on the walls. It will have its original 18th century terracotta tomettes put back down on the floor, and it will have a lovely Louis XVI console that we use with a marble basin. And so this will be a really very practical space in a chateau that really hasn't had many previous practical spaces at all, and really will improve our living quality quite a lot. So this room is interesting. To position you, this plaster wall here is the wall that is the back of the new shower. So the corridor came through here. Originally it was the maid's room. Then in a previous life after that, it was a manky, disgusting bathroom. There was a really quite putrid toilet here. There was a bath here with leaking pipework. So all the wood beams were rotten. There was a weird hot water system positioned up here. And it's quite a small space, but what we're going to do with this space, because we have all the water arrival and evacuation coming in through this section here, we're going to make this a small laundry for the first floor, and it means that managing linen on the first floor will become quite easy, and it's also an easy space to use for this because we've already got all the supplies of water and so on that we need in here. It's quite a nice room. It's got lots of light. It's not very big for a laundry, so it won't be the chateau's principal laundry. It will just be a practical laundry for this space. So with so much work happening outside the chateau on saving the chateau via the restoration of the roof and facades, thank you for joining us for this interior tour where we've had a look at Purnon's original kings in their new home on the ground floor and a look at our future works for the restoration of the principal rooms on the ground floor of the chateau on the western wing, and then here on the eastern wing, the first floor, some mod cons being put in place for the first time alongside the protection of Purnon's valuable historic elements. And so an incredibly complex restoration project here on the first floor, but we are definitely making progress. Next week we have something special for you. We're going to do a Q&A and we are completely in your hands. So pop any of your questions in the description below. Include your name and country if you'd like us to mention that, or also if your question is specifically for Tim or myself. As always, remember, if you'd like to follow the restoration of Purnon more closely, we post a daily update in our Instagram stories. We post an exclusive weekly video over on Patreon, where this week Tim takes you on a tour of Purnon's intriguing Aeolian Bolet. Otherwise, just hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and we'll keep you updated here.